Senior Democrats have responded by critiquing the committee on growth of the All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amosu.
You're welcome to Celebration Television News Desk. CARMEL and Nicholas Walter, and here are the news making the headlines. National Assembly may override Buhari's assent, says Senate Chairman. Libya elections could be held in June. Boris Johnson was warned about lockdown drinks, says Dominic Cummings. China's Xi Jinping depends common prosperity crackdowns. Lewandowski defeats Messi and Salah to win FIFA's Best Player of the Year 2021. Stay with us, don't go anywhere as we bring you details of the news after this short break. Welcome back. In our news in full, members of the National Assembly are considering overriding President Muhammadu Buhari on the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Independent National Electoral Commission, Senator Kabiru Gaya, made this known on Monday. Buhari had vetoed the electoral bill over the restriction of political parties to direct primary, insisting on the direct, indirect, and consensus options. Both the Senate and the House of Representatives had suspended actions on the bill till resumption on January 18, 2022. Speaking on Monday, Gaya partly said they are resuming today, which was yesterday, in plenary indefinitely. The matter will be brought upon on the floor, and the Senate President will now be required to refer the letter from Mr. President to the committee. Moving forward, ASU NMA not recognized labor union, says federal government. The head of the Civil Service of Federation, Dr. Folashade Emiesan, said the Nigerian Medical Association, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, as well as their facilities, were not recognized labor unions in the public service. She also stated that the federal government was considering creating 2 additional councils in the education and health sectors. Yemie-san stated this during the opening of the separate and joint meetings of the National Public Service Negotiating Councils, which was attended by the Minister of Labor and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, and the National President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Ayuba Waba. In line with the principle and practice of collective bargaining, the government, particularly in recent times, has had to engage organized labor unions in constant dialogue. Thus, it is pleasing to note that such effort has not been in vain, as we can appreciate the evident harmonious industrial atmosphere in the country. Another development, Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer slams federal government over fresh terrorism charges. The lead counsel to Nnamdi Kanu and indigenous people of Biafra, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, has tackled the federal government over the 15 fresh charges filed against the detained leader of IPOB. He made this known in an update after visiting IPOB's leader ahead of the resumption of his trial today. Reports had it that the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, in amended application filed before a Federal High Court, Abuja, presided over by Justice Binta Nyako, increased the counts from 7 to 15 counts. The IPOB leader, who has been facing 7-count treasonable felony charge, is expected to enter his fresh plea to the fresh charges on January 18th, when the matter will be coming up for hearing. The lawyer described the fresh charges as a joke, adding the federal government intended to delay justice with them. And coming from around Africa, Libya elections could be held in June. Libya is likely to conduct its general election in June after missing the December deadline to elect its first president since the 2011 ouster and killing of long-time dictator Muammar Gaddafi. The country's inability to hold its first ever presidential elections came as a surprise to many, especially international bodies that had put in measures to ensure the elections could be executed in December. Williams, who led United Nations efforts to end the latest session of violence in Libya in 2020, said elections are needed in the country to give credibility to the country's institutions. After missing the initial date, Libya's election board proposed that presidential polls should take place on January 24th, but that could not be considered. Libyan lawmakers who met in late December last year to examine the issues that forced a postponement of the presidential elections recommended laying out an applicable roadmap. The challenges facing the elections include bitter disputes over the laws governing the electoral process and occasional infighting among armed groups. And still coming from around Africa, deposed Guinean President Conde flown abroad for medical care. The 83-year-old man flew abroad for medical care. However, no details were disclosed on his diagnosis. Witnesses at the airport in Conakry confirmed that the former president's plane was en route to Abu Dhabi. The junta, which calls itself the National Rally Committee for Development, had announced earlier this month that the former president was not in good health and would be allowed to travel for treatment. Alpha Conde was overthrown in September 2021 by Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya. He then spent more than 4 months in the custody of military junta that deposed him. His ouster came less than a year after he ran and won a third term in office despite widespread protest. The regional bloc, ECOWAS, and other members of the international community had called for Conde's immediate release ever since he was detained. But Guinea's new military rulers vowed that Conde wouldn't be allowed to leave the country and seek exile. West African regional leaders put travel bans into place after junta failed to release him, and the financial assets of junta leaders also were frozen. And the politician was eventually freed in November and sent to his wife's home in capital Conakry. We'll go on a short break. We'll come back. We'll bring you updates from the foreign scene. Stay with us.
Unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1. It's time to fulfill the scriptures. Here comes something huge. Are you a singer, an upcoming gospel artist? Do you have what it takes to be the next gospel music star? JOLIZ Records brings you Kingdom Voice Talent Hunt to build your passion and fulfill dreams. Hurry now, reach us on the following numbers, or simply send a mail.
Gospel music ministers, I need you to be part of this talent hunt. Kingdom Voices. God bless you.
Don't miss out.
welcome back and many thanks for staying with us. Now updates from the foreign scene. Boris Johnson was warned about lockdown drinks, says Dominic Cummings. The Prime Minister's former top aide, Dominic Cummings, has said Boris Johnson was warned about number 10 holding a drinks party in Garden during lockdown. Mr. Cummings, who has been strongly critical of Mr. Johnson since he left number 10, says the Prime Minister waved aside concerns about the gathering. Mr. Johnson has admitted he attended the event on the 20th of May 2020, but says he believed it was work-related. Last week, Mr. Johnson said he went to the gathering in the Downing Street Garden and stayed at the drinks for 25 minutes to thank staff for their hard work. However, Mr. Cummings, who worked in number 10 at the time of the party, has insisted Mr. Johnson knew he was at a drinks party because he was told it was a drink party and it was actually a drink party. Mr. Cummings added further details about his account of excursion leading up to the party on the 20th of May. More updates from the United Kingdom. UK is sending weapons to defend Ukraine, says Defense Secretary. Britain is supplying Ukraine with short-range anti-tank missiles for self-defense after Russia amassed about 100,000 troops on its border, the Defense Secretary has said. Ben Wallace told Member of Parliament a small team of British troops would also be sent to Ukraine to provide training. He said there was legitimate and real cause for concern and the Russian troops could be used for an invasion. Russia denies any invasion plans and accuses the West of aggression. Dozens of British troops have been in Ukraine since 2015 to help train their armed forces, and the UK has also made a commitment to help rebuild Ukraine's navy following Russia's invasion of Crimea in 2014. But Mr. Wallace said the UK will be providing extra help with security in the light of Russia's increasingly threatening behavior. The first batch of light anti-armor weapons was sent on Monday, although the Defense Secretary did not specify the time. Now, quickly, we'll go straight to business news. China's Xi Jinping defends common prosperity crackdowns. Chinese President Xi Jinping has made a rare defense on the world stage on his common prosperity policy, which has seen major crackdowns on businesses. His comments came during the World Economic Forum annual meeting of government and corporate leaders. China says the policies aimed at narrowing the widening wealth gap, which could threaten the Communist Party's rule if left unaddressed. Technology, education, and entertainment firms have actually been hit by the crackdowns. The measures put in place by the common prosperity policies are seen by some as a way of reining billionaire owners of some of China's biggest companies to instead give customers and workers more of a say in how firms operate and distribute their earnings. But with its implementation, billions of dollars have been wiped off the value of some of China's biggest companies as Beijing imposed tough new regulations on them, which has rattled international investors. During his address, Mr. Xi moved to ease some of his concerns as he said the country is still open to investment from overseas. And still on business news, finance and insurance firms boost services sector growth, says Central Bank of Nigeria. The services sector recorded slight growth in the third quarter of 2021, buoyed by the improved performances of the finance and insurance sectors, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria. The Central Bank of Nigeria in its 2021 third quarter economic report said the services and agriculture sector grew in real terms in the third quarter of 2021, while the industry sector dipped owing to the contraction of some of its activity sectors. And according to the reports, the performance of the finance and insurance subsectors was in response to the improvement in economic activities, which led to increases in the volume and value of credit disbursed to finance, business, and consumer expenditures. The slower growth in the sector was attributed to 3.97% contraction in the fishing subsectors caused by the seasonal rise in the water levels, it added. The report said crop production, livestock and forestry subsectors grew by 1.36%, 0.12% and 1.98% respectively. It said the sector's improvement was due largely to the performance of the manufacturing and mining and quarry subsector. We're going to a short break. When we come back, we'll bring you sport news.
What business are you planning to showcase to the world? That which will satisfy the need of humanity? Of course, with Celebration TV, it will get the desired reciprocation you long for. We are committed to giving your business and services that quality touch of class, and you will be happy you made the right choice by placing that investment of yours on the right platform. Without delay, you can call on this number for your advert placement, partnership or sponsorship of our programs. Celebration Television, your best bet.
And you're welcome to Sport News. Lewandowski defeats Messi and Salah to win FIFA's Best Player of 2021. Bayern Munich record-setting striker Robert Lewandowski retained FIFA's top men player title Monday at the Best of 2021 ceremony at Barcelona. Captain Alexia Putellas collected the award for Best Women's Player. The 33-year-old Lewandowski, who set a Bundesliga goal record last season, won the trophy for the second time, edging Argentine Lionel Messi of Paris Saint-Germain and Egyptian Mohamed Salah of Liverpool. It was a consolation for the Polish striker who lost out to Messi for the Ballon d'Or in November. For Putellas, it marked an awards double as his Spaniard trophy or the Spaniard triumph over Barcelona teammate Jennifer Hermoso and Chelsea's Australian striker Sam Kerr, just as she did for the Ballon d'Or. The 27-year-old midfielder enjoyed an exceptional 2020-2021 season with Barcelona when she led the Catalans to the Spanish League and Cup double as well as Champions League. Quickly in another sports news, Boubacar scores again as Cameroon draw Cape Verde 1-1. Cameroon captain Vincent Aboubakar scored his 5th goal of the African Cup of Nations as his already qualified side were joined by Burkina Faso on Monday in the second round. The Saudi Arabia-based forward, who turns 30 on Saturday, put Cameroon ahead, and substitute Gary Rodriguez equalized for Cape Verde after half-time in a 1-1 draw in Yaoundé. Cameroon topped the final table with 7 points. Burkina Faso edged Cape Verde on head-to-head records for second place after both accumulated 4 points, and Ethiopia were eliminated with just 1 point. While Cameroon and Burkina Faso are short of last 16 places, Cape Verde must wait to see if they go through as one of the best 4 third-placed teams from the 6 groups. In Yaoundé, Cameroon broke the deadlock on 39 minutes in a cagey opening half dominated by the 2 defenses. Abubakar should have put Cameroon ahead again midway through the second half, but blazed over when the ball ran loose inside the box. And that has brought us to the end of news on Celebration Television News Desk. In case you missed out, here's the news making the headlines. National Assembly may override Buhari's assent, says Senate Chairman. Libya elections could be held in June. Boris Johnson was warned about lockdown drinks, says Dominic Cummings. China's Xi Jinping defends a common prosperity crackdown. Lewandowski defeats Messi and Salah to win FIFA's best player of 2021. Quickly, we have photo of the day. Talking about dreams, that you see that simply means that no one else is going to do it for you. All you need to do is push yourself to succeed and achieve that dreams in life. You can drop your comment on social media platforms. On Facebook, we have Celebration TV, Instagram, My Celebration TV, Twitter to us at My Celebration TV, YouTube, Celebration TV. Remember that your positive contribution to the wellness of a society, find yourself or the organization your work defines your leadership mind. As an individual who knows what to do and do without expecting to be pushed has backed these ways to success. Be it known today that everything we do, think, feel, and believe either has a positive or negative effect on humanity and our national well-being. Be a part of nation building today. Thank you once again for staying with us on News Desk. I remain Akosile Nicholas Walter. Bye for now. Amounted to 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior